Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla. Today bringing you another episode of Car Rides with Schla. And I guess just to recap some boring things to get out of the way. I I feel horrible about doing this, but the microphone, the Rode microphone I've been using did come with the bigger plosive filter that I wanted. It was just hidden, like within the plastic packaging. It was really weird, but when I was finally, yeah, my room's a mess, so I was finally cleaning it up and I was about to throw it out and I saw that it was in there. So I feel really bad because I thought they didn't include it because the regular filter was just tossed in there haphazardly and it was used. So I guess it was just never used. And then it wasn't the same filter as pictured. So I guess the one in the picture was from. So it was a confusing situation, but I ended up spending money to buy those other plosive filters, and then those are not as heavy duty. So I'm trying out this one now. It's a lot larger, and we're going to see how that goes. I mean, hopefully I can actually have it comfortably closer to my mouth now, and then it should, I would assume, be better for like a car environment because of how noisy the background is. We'll see. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to see, but we will find out. Now, I think that's pretty much it. I got the Polarizer. It doesn't do anything, so that was a waste of $50. It does not help with the glasses. I don't even have it on right now. That was one of the stupidest things. I don't know what I thought it would help, but it just doesn't. It does nothing at all. And it's cool. I mean, it's a cool thing to have, but I have the additional mounting hardware for my microphone, for my phone setup in the car, but I haven't actually done anything with that yet. So that's a little bit lame. But I hope to get to that as soon as possible, really, so I can get a better angle. I've just given up on the face reveal deadline because I missed it. The stuff came too late, as I think I already had admitted in a previous episode. And yeah, I can't really think of anything else at the moment. I really can't, truly, to catch you up on. What I was just thinking when I was first getting into the car, this was after I came up with all this stuff to say, because I came up with this stuff to say, obviously, before getting into the car, but as I got into the car, I was realizing something. A lot of times the Monday car rides with Schla are actually the worst. They feel like the worst to me. I'm not really sure why that is, because I remember when I first did the series, that was definitely not the case. The case was that the Monday episodes I was really excited to get into, but I'm not anymore. I don't know. I'm not like looking forward to it. I mean, I'm not dreading it. It's just like a part of my routine at this point. It is what it's a thing, but Monday seems to be the hardest. I think maybe even Monday and Tuesday, just because I'm getting back into the routine of things, which is, I guess it's just tricky. I don't really know how else to explain it. It's just kind of a tricky thing to do, to get back into the swing of recording. Now, when I first started the series, I was overflowing with talking energy, because as I had said, I don't really have enough friends to actually talk to. And so this show was finally releasing my pent up talking energy, because I have a lot of it and I wanted to make friends. And I've already been through all that with y'all about how I've tried and tried, but just never worked out. And then now I realize, well, my calling the whole time has been to make content, and I just haven't been doing it, and that would have solved a lot of it. Although, here's the thing, kind of an update on that theory. I don't think I was really in the headspace for that. I truly think that I had to go through what I went through in order to get where I'm at now. I mean, it was weird. It was a weird period of time the past couple years. I think because during it, I didn't even know. It's just such a horrible time to be alive, I think. Well, I guess it depends on the person. Maybe if you're a normie, it's kind of exciting, 17 to 22-ish. That 5 years, maybe. If you're a normie and you're going to college and stuff, and it's a little bit interesting, but for me it was not. It was just weird. It was so weird. Bad, I guess it was bad. I mean, I kind of feel like I was a crybaby in retrospect, because, yeah, I didn't have to work, or, like, I should have been working, though, so, yeah, I would be I would be, like, exceptionally rich right now if I had been for my age, if I had just been working, but I didn't. I was just being stupid, and so, yep, here we are, stuck, slaving away with barely anything in the bank. Well, I mean, I say that, but I probably, again, also have more money than a lot of people my age, so it's like always being self-critical. Never good enough. Just have to keep pushing and pushing. That's always how it's been. So I don't even know what I was getting at with that. I have no idea. We're just gonna move on. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, it's always the hardest, and it wasn't at first because I had so much overflowing energy to socialize. Now I kind of don't. Now I feel like this show, my schedule as is packed. I've already explained. It's just about, on average, I think, some days are better than others with the traffic, but I'm probably hitting, maybe it's 5.5, because what would 5.5 be? Like, if it was an hour and 5 minutes every day, that would be 525. Yeah, I feel like, no, because see, and if it was 5 hours and 10 minutes a day, which is probably what it is, because you can't even go off of the video time, because the video time is a slight underestimate. I would say the video time is probably a little bit shorter than the actual time I spend in the car. So my schedule is truly packed. I think it's safe to round up to 6 hours a week of the car rides with Schla, which is not only just 6 hours of recording, because that would obviously be something in and of itself. Like if I recorded for 6 hours each day, right? That would be an accomplishment for sure. But it's not just recording for 6 hours each day in the comfort of my own home. It's recording for 6 hours, and it's while driving as well. So that's not, to me, that's work. I can kind of understand how recording for 6 hours. Well, I said 6 hours a day, didn't I? Silly me. I can kind of see how recording for 6 hours a day. I can kind of see how recording for 6 hours a week, like if I had a career where all I had to do was record audio for 6 hours a week, and I made like even if I made like a poverty wage off of that, that is a good life. That is such a good life. So I can see how at first glance you think, oh, well, oh my gosh. My car just scared me for no reason. It's done that so many times. It has this thing that tells you to brake. I guess it's supposed to detect, but it never works right. It always tells me to brake when there's nothing there. And it's scary. It's so scary. Oh my gosh. I just don't like that it does that. It's not right. It's really, really not right. So scary. Now, anyways. Now I don't even remember what I was talking about. Silly modern car. Silly modern car. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. If I guess, because I've thought of this argument before, and I'm trying to see both sides of it. I've thought about it for a little bit. Person's being a little bit rude. I thought about it before, and I tried to see both sides of it, but I do think you have to count it as work. Now, again, I do think if I chose to record 6 hours of me talking, because you have to remember, there's a huge difference between talking and footage. I mean, you could technically record, let's say, 6 hours of gameplay. Like if you were playing a video game, and that's 6 hours of gameplay. I mean, that's not that crazy. Like, you don't have to have a mic on. You don't have to be talking. That's chill. It's still an accomplishment. I don't want to diminish it. But what I'm saying is, I do think that talking is a fairly dedicated activity. I don't know. I mean, you can't really, like, I couldn't be doing these videos and then also watching a show at the same time. Well, yeah, no, if you did like a no mic gameplay recording, you could be watching a show at the same time. You could really be doing whatever you want. You could be eating while you do it. Maybe that's the new meta, is while eating, I record my Let's Play. But see, I can't do that because it's always about talking. Even if I do those Let's Plays, I'm going to want to be talking. So, the only idea with that is potentially, I'm going 2 steps ahead from what my mind's thinking. I told you guys that happens with me. So I thought of all this stuff very quickly in my head, and it's this new thing I've noticed about myself. Well, I haven't newly noticed it, but this concept is new. So I do eat really fast typically. I think I eat faster than most people, and it's natural. Like, I don't put effort into it. I just eat very fast. I don't really know. I mean, it doesn't feel fast to me, but then it seems like other people are much slower at eating. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You might not think much of that, but I'm realizing now, technically having to eat is a period of time where I can't be talking, which is, yeah, that's kind of silly, isn't it? Don't you think that's kind of silly? Because it really inhibits me big time. Because I'm trying to talk, and that's the root of all my content, is talking and communication. So if I have to eat, which everybody does, then it's cutting into time I could be talking. So this may mean we may have to cut it back to 1 meal a day. That may be the consensus from now, and I'm fooling around. Because I didn't even think about that, because I've been wanting to try to cram in recordings in the morning real quick, maybe, because I do have a little bit of time. And that would kind of be a nice warm-up for the morning car rides with Schla, but I'm realizing now I eat in the morning. So I can't do a video. I'm like trying to cram as much. It's like insanity what I'm putting myself through. Because it's not to mention the work week. We're really at like a 60-hour. I'm probably out of my house for 60 hours a week or something like that. Because again, I'm doing a little bit over 50 hours a week of work, and then that's always misleading because you have to tack on 2.5 hours. I've already complained about how absurd it is that I don't get paid for being at work for 2.5 hours each week. It's just, something is wrong. It does not count. It should at least be half paid. That is not working. Just at work. Just because I'm at work, but I'm on break. How is that not working? I'm not at my house. I can't do like half the stuff I would even want to do on a break. You have a phone, sure, but for most of the time, nobody even had phones. So it makes even less sense because that law was created way before phones. I guess phones help justify that, but that wasn't the original intention of that law being created. So I don't know what was going through those greedy businessmen's heads all the way back then. See, I wanted to keep getting into more of the political stuff, but I guess I'm getting into this kind of stuff. And then obviously you're probably thinking it, I'm realizing it too. I could start doing ASMR like eating, which I don't know how well that would go because I eat the same thing every day. But that was my only plan, to be able to make content while eating, because it's a huge weak spot for me because I like to talk, and so all my content is pretty much talking centered. And so, yeah, it's rough. I guess it's a good world, though, for me. I think we've already said that. It's a pretty good time for somebody who is just a chatterbox. I think chatterboxes are going to do very well. Or we do. I mean, I don't do well socially, but I do well with digital interaction with, a camera and recording, which that's almost more important nowadays. Because it's almost like, I almost wonder if, especially in my generation, more people hear audio of someone talking from a phone more than a literal human speaking to them. That is a super interesting question I would like to ask GPT. Because I mean, that's just a guess, but I think there's definitely a pretty large portion. I don't know if it's a majority, but I wouldn't really be that surprised if it was a majority of people where most of their social interaction, in terms of most of the time they're hearing audio, it's from something that is pre-recorded and not something that is a live call. Or, well, no, I'm including that, right? So if you're on the phone, it is live, but it's a digital interaction. I'm seeing it as that. So I guess it's a bit complicated of a question, but that is my theory, that there's probably, I mean, even if it's a minority, there is a large chunk, and it could be a majority, honestly. I would not be shocked of people who are interacting more with digital means, interacting through digital means than physical means. And that puts people like me, I think, at a huge advantage, because I'm naturally better and faster at operating within those mediums. And I see it. And I didn't know it. I mean, I didn't really think much of it, because you really usually don't. But I'm realizing it now, because it's true. My typing speed is basically faster than anybody's, especially given the fact that I don't try to type. I mean, I can hit 60 to 70 words per minute on mobile, which is very impressive, with 100% accuracy, because I don't type with autocorrect, so I'm used to it. So that sounded silly. I don't type with autocorrect, so I think I have a bit more precision when I text. I still make mistakes, because mobile texting, it just seems like mistakes are inevitable, but when I'm doing a typing test, I can hit 60-something words per minute with 100% accuracy, and that's including the ones that do the punctuation and stuff, because a lot of people really would struggle with that even further. Now, I don't text with punctuation, but if I had to, I'm not bad at it. But that's the thing that's interesting, is that I don't even practice with that. So if I did, I could easily hit more into the 70s, I'm sure, if I texted on mobile with proper punctuation on a regular basis. So the whole point is that I think digital communication is going to become more important eventually. I mean, it's depressing. It's kind of a depressing reality that we live in, that the people who were social butterflies before are kind of getting snubbed a little bit. I have a feeling they don't really like the way things are now, because now people are quieter. People are overstimulated. Obviously had that video idea that I still haven't done, but hopefully we'll get to soon, about how I think podcasts and being on the phone, it changes the way we interact socially, even in a subconscious way. I think it makes people ruder and more dismissive, because you become so used to interacting with humans in a passive way via a podcast, and then when you have to actually be present, it's a bit of a shocker. It's you do have to be there for the other person. You're accountable. And that's the huge problem nowadays, is people are probably less accountable than I think they ever have been. I mean, the issue is really coming to a head now about accountability, despite all the increases in cost of living and the extra stress that has been put on people to save money, to try to be smart. It's not happening. People are still spending a lot. And I've really been wanting to revisit this issue, because I had been watching a good amount of left-wing political content, because I really wanted to have a clearer perspective into how to navigate that. And I do think that, yeah, I mean, in some ways you can say, yeah, like most people probably are doing the right thing, but I think left-wing people are a bit too optimistic about it. Like, I don't think that everybody who is lower class is necessarily being as intelligent as they could be in terms of saving. And that's not to acknowledge the obvious problem, which there is. There is an obvious cost of living problem. I think for many people, even if you save properly, you can't get by. So it's not to diminish that, which is something that I think the left more clearly acknowledges than the right on a regular basis. But I think it's a little bit too generous to say that most people would actually, because people are not, I've seen it. I've never met anybody else who's really interested in like, oh, I'm going to calculate my food cost and stop buying things that are wasteful and buy things that are more efficient. I've never met anybody like that. So the thing I always bring up is drinks. Drinks are very heavy. They have a much higher rate of getting destroyed. They're a bit more sensitive if they burst and things like that. You have to pay extra to have... There's a certain percentage of fluids that will inevitably burst. And then that adds to the shipping cost because you have a certain amount of loss. And then it's a good amount of extra labor to have somebody take time to clean. So fluids are the biggest waste of money. They're the only thing that should really exist is water. And I have a feeling that plastic water bottles shouldn't even really exist and that people should mostly operate based on sinks. Except that a lot of people are dependent on plastic and they don't use reusable water bottles because plastic's more convenient. And so that's where you get into the issue of, well, I mean, even if you gave poorer people more money, there probably is a correlation with lower IQ and people who are at lower economic classes. And I mean, I could look that up, but I have a feeling. I really do have a feeling. And that's a huge problem. So I think that you do need to regulate a lot of that stuff out. You need to kind of force people to, take the extra effort to buy a reusable water bottle instead of buying the plastic ones, and just not buying drinks out ever. Because they're just such an inefficient resource, but everybody loves them. I hear so many people talking about juices and smoothies all the time. I hear so many people raving over that, and it's something that shouldn't even exist. It's so bougie and expensive, and I don't think people comprehend how entitled they are to even act like that. It's really crazy. That's what it is. Because food is solid. Food has a lot of nutrition in it. And so if you're buying, you should not be buying liquids or condiments or sauces. All that stuff, if you're actually trying to be healthy and you're actually trying to save money, none of it belongs in your fridge. There should be no drinks, no fluids. The obvious main caveat to that is probably milk. You know, if you have whole cow's milk, there's a decent amount of nutrition going on there, but that's obviously not what I'm talking about. And even still, like, I don't personally drink milk. I eat a lot of cheese, so I figure I think I get enough of the milk-related nutrients from that, but that's the only exception. Like, milk is obviously a staple, but I'm talking about a lot of the other crazy drinks and all that exist. And so that is a big issue that needs to be addressed, and I just don't think, the left is a little bit too optimistic about not putting enough pressure on people to really wise up and purchase properly. Because you can't, I don't know, I guess I just don't believe in that welfare should kind of close the gap if there's major market inefficiencies. That's basically what I'm saying. Because I don't think that's fair to me or other people who try to optimize and purchase properly. Why should I have to? So I guess regulation would have to come through. I mean, it could still work. It's just, again, I don't know why I'm being, I don't actually, maybe I'm taking back my criticism, because you could super easily just make it so food stamps don't, like, you try to purchase bottled water and it doesn't work. Like, food stamps you can only purchase food with. You can't purchase, maybe that's already the case. You know what I mean? So maybe there are solutions. Well, I'm saying maybe the solutions are already there, but if they're not, they could be implemented. I think they will be in the future, because that's how it should really be. You shouldn't be able to buy fluids with food stamps, except for maybe milk. You know, that's my theory about that. It should just be milk, and any other fluid you shouldn't be able to purchase with food stamps. Interesting. But yes, I guess there is a solution. You just have to bake in good rules into the system. But they don't like, I guess that's where you get into where I think the left and a lot of those ideas tend to be correct, is regulating things. But see, again, people complain about that, though. People complain when the government tells them what to do, and I actually think too that's probably a poorer. No. That's not poor, because I think rich people also complain about regulations that hurt them. So I don't know that that's really class based. I think the ignorance part of it, though, I think that might tend to be like a poorer thing about, oh, it's America, oh, freedom. That I think is a lower class issue, but the higher class issue with the billionaires is they want the freedom to be able to exploit. So there's two sides of the issue, but they're both coming from ignorance. But yeah, I think those kind of regulations would be super good. Just stuff I've said before, just cut out any potential purchases that are exploitative in nature. Just get rid of, like, they just shouldn't really be there. I mean, you could even make the argument cigarettes just shouldn't be there, but they obviously are there, and then people are already addicted, so then it becomes complicated to just cut that out, obviously, because people, that's kind of hard, right? Because if somebody's already addicted to something, you can't just ban things. So yeah, I mean, there's some ways to navigate it, but I guess that, reduces my, because we're out of time. Sorry for the incomplete comprehension. Anyways, it's been another Car Rides with Schla. I'm not doing the TLDR with Schla because I don't feel like doing that piece of junk. See you, Schla. Bye, Schla. Thanks, Schla. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.